come down to the base, or come down the stairs with no gun.
He's aiming it at. He's aiming it over here. He's pointing it like.
Okay.
He just racked it.
Yeah.
We have new patrol survival tactic dates to announce. We'll be in Santa Clara, California, September 18th, in Willow Park, Texas, October 2nd. To get signed up, go to savagetraininggroup.com. If you're interested in hosting a class, go to savagetraininggroup.com.
We're also going to be at the Nashville TAC Ops Tactical Conference, August 22nd through the 25th. Come by the vendor booth and say hi. All right, everybody, welcome back to another body cam breakdown. This body cam comes out of Roy, Utah, July 7th, 2023. Officers are dispatched to the third story of an apartment complex for an armed, suicidal subject who has multiple firearms. Caller reports that a family member is inside threatening to commit suicide, and his mother is still inside the residence with him. The two officers arrive on scene, and they make the decision to contact the mother at the apartment door to try to lure her out. Let's watch the initial contact of the officers and break it down.
You're disconnected.
I think we were. I need
Okay, what's going on at that address? I have the address here.
He is threatening to commit suicide. He has guns in the house. His mother's in the house.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky, Todd, on this landing. Door's open. Go taser.
Okay, so we just watched the first two initial officers that arrived on scene. They made the decision to contact the mother at the front door of the apartment. Mark, what do you think about that, knowing the call for service?
Knowing the call for service, knowing that the caller says he's suicidal, has a rifle and a handgun, and mom's still inside, I'm really hesitant to make my way up to a third floor to actually knock on this door. He's armed and he's suicidal, and he's saying he's going to kill himself. I'm hesitant to do that. I don't like the fact that these officers are walking up to make contact.
Yeah, I think, so when we watch this, just the beginning clip of this, you have to be very cautious. You know he's on the third story, so he already has the elevated position, so he has the advantage on you right off the get-go. So I think you and I discussed something that maybe could have done a little differently is maybe get her cell phone number, mom's phone, try to contact her via phone, ask her to come out of the apartment, and kind of go from there. But going up to the apartment is you're putting yourself at a lot of risk.
Yeah, and and they did make the decision to go up there, I'd like to see the option of carrying a shield with them, just as it is added, some type of added barrier.
Yeah, helmet, shield.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to encounter when you actually do get to the top of the stairs. So he could take her hostage. I mean, there's so many different variables that could happen. So things that you need to consider before making your approach, have all of that already put in place. Let's watch the part where they do contact the mother at the threshold of the doorway, and let's see what her response is.
Okay.
Steve.
Come out here, ma'am.
Steve. Steve, let me see your hands.
Right here, you just shoot him, no.
Where's the gun?
In his hand.
Ma'am, come out here.
Is it the rifle?
Yes, and a handgun, Steve.
Steve, let me see your hands.
He's got the gun in his hand.
Steve!
Ma'am, come out here.
Come out, ma'am!
No.
Back out. Ma'am, come out. Ma'am, you're making this worse. We were 315. If you got somebody else who's got the 88, tell them that she's refusing to come out.
Don't shoot. He needs help.
I know, but you got her right here.
He needs help.
Yeah. Ma'am, I need you. We want to help him, but you got to come out. Okay. Out. Back down. Side.
Come on.
It's just a suicide.
Come on.
Don't shoot.
Come on. Go downstairs, ma'am.
All right, so we just watched that section. The door's open. The officers are trying to make contact with the mom. She's visibly scared, shaky voice. Seems like she's been crying, is unwilling to come out. She's kind of standing there. She's holding like a purse or a bag with her, and she's saying her son is armed. They try and have her come outside, but she's not willing to come out. What's your thought on that, Kyle? What do you do?
So you have a couple options. A, you back out completely and leave. You have an unwilling person wanting to exit the apartment where you know that this guy's armed and she's saying that he's armed. So it's tough, I think, because number one, I think they're in a bad position as it is. And you know as well as I do, if that guy were to start shooting, I mean, the cops, the mother is in between the cops and the bad guy. So if a gunfight ensues, she's going to get stuck in the middle of that. So, and then you have adjacent apartments which are paper thin walls. So it's dangerous for everybody. But if she's unwilling to come out, it's tough, man, because like that's his mom and she doesn't want to see her son die. So I sympathize for her in that. She's clearly upset.
Yeah.
You either back out completely and you have an unwilling, victim who's not wanting to be cooperative. It obviously doesn't seem he wants to hurt his mother, but we don't know that. So these guys are going to have to do something. They're either going to have to try to get her to come out on her own, or they're going to have to make the decision to back out and get at least some type of cover, a better spot than wherever they're at. And their adrenaline's a little high, and they're kind of speaking to her a little gruff because they're upset that she's not wanting to come out. So I can also understand that. But, speaking to somebody who's visibly upset like that, probably in a better tone, would have been a little bit better. Fortunately for these guys, she did come out of the apartment and they were able to just grab her, get her out of the way. They then retreated down the stairs, which I thought was a fantastic idea. They separated themselves from the apartment.
Yeah. And it looks like maybe their initial, we don't hear it in the body camera, but maybe their initial plan was to go up and get the mom out. And if that was their mission, then they succeeded. So yeah,
totally.
That was good. All right, let's see what happens next.
Listen, man, hey, you know me. Hey, we talk all the time, bro. No, if you put the gun down, put the gun down. I'm not going to come up there with the gun in hand. I will talk to you, but you need to put the gun down. I'm not going to come talk to you at the... Okay, put your hands up. I will come talk to you. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Come down the stairs. I will talk to you. I will personally talk to you and take care of this. Come down. Put your hands up. Do you want me to talk to you? Please, man, don't make me do this, okay? I've talked to you so many times. Don't make any of us do this. Okay? Please let me help you. I want to help you, but I cannot come up there. I need you to come down to me. We're not going to harm you. We're not going to hurt you. Okay? Now, please don't make me do this.
Okay, so now as this progresses, the officers are down in the parking lot, hopefully behind some type of good cover because, like we had said earlier, he's got the elevation on him. So unless you have an armored vehicle out there like a Bearcat or something, it's a bad spot to be in.
Yeah.
They also, it looks to me like you can see in the video, they have some type of reaction team at the bottom of the stairwell, which is good. And people need to take note of that. So I think having reaction teams is an underutilized thing. And what I mean by that is having some type of team ready to go with less lethal options, and if something changes in this scenario, these group of cops can react to it immediately. So they have all that stuff in place. So they're clearly trying to negotiate with this guy. The body cam footage of the cop that we're watching clearly knows this guy because he's calling him by name. He says, "Hey, dude, you know me. We've spoken several times." Yeah. This is obviously an individual that they're familiar with. So use that to your advantage. Now you're at a stalemate. So what do? Do you leave? Do you have a crime? And if so, what crime do you have? These are all important questions that you need to start debriefing with the mother. What exactly occurred in that apartment while you were in there? Did he point those guns at you? Did he make any homicidal statements towards you? Those are things that have to get asked because you're kind of at a stalemate now, right? Are you only dealing with an armed, barricaded, suicidal subject, or are you dealing with a subject who's committed a crime? And there's a great class out there with Savage Training Group, and that's response to a non-criminal barricade. And how do you legally and deal with these types of situations, right? What are your legal parameters? And a lot of cops out there think that you cannot leave these types of situations because the public is at harm and, there's a danger to others. So if you haven't, or if you do get the chance, I would highly suggest attending one of Scott Savage's class, the response to a non-criminal barricade. There's so much to learn from those and disengaging from armed suicidal subjects.
Yeah. Well, these officers end up doing a pretty good job trying to talk to him. The officer wearing the body cam, you could hear his voice. He's got to talk at a distance. So he's talking loud and pronouncing, but he's not yelling, and he's being pretty mellow. And I think initially at this point, they're doing a really good job trying to talk to him. A couple officers almost step on each other talking over a little, but they quickly figure that out. Yeah. And then one officer is narrating in a way, saying like specific things and updating it, which we've talked about a lot of time. It's really good to keep it on your body camera because at times this is all you're going to see. So that communication's been great.
Yeah, I really liked that the officer who we're watching, he's voicing what he's seeing because he has the best view of what's going on because he's so far back. And he's telling all the other officers that are on scene what this guy's doing. So I thought that was really good. The communication was good. And they're trying to build some type of rapport with this guy. So overall, I thought that was good on them.
Yeah. Let's watch the next part where they actually bring the fire department in and put up a ladder and start evacuating other people around in the apartments.
Steve, we have one apartment left and we are leaving, okay? They just don't know what you got going on. Are you okay to just talk to us for a minute?
Yep, but tell them to lower it, or that's going to be the last thing.
Okay, Steve, do you have any gun with you fast? Just let me know that.
All right, what I really like that these officers did is they're clearly coming up with a plan, and they brought the fire department in for medical responses, but they also utilized and thought outside the box and had them bring a ladder, and they put it up to the third story because these officers at the time are developing a plan to extract the neighbors around there, which is a good plan for safety, to try and get them out. And they're trying to do that through the balcony and not take them through the front and down the stairs. The one part I don't like about this, and I'd like to see something a little different, is they're on the phone with this suicidal subject and they're telling him, we are going to take and move out all the innocent victims or the innocent parties out of the apartment away from you. Yeah. I don't like that part because they ended up mentioning that down through the stairs, and they're telling this suicidal person what they're doing and what their plan is dealing with potential victims at this point. I'd like to see the two plans separated. One person just continuously talking to this subject, letting them know, like, please come out and just continue what they're doing. And then the officers that are developing the plan to take the people out of the apartment without notifying that to the.
So more of like a distraction for him so that the other plan can be put in place.
Yes,
without
totally.
him knowing what they're doing, right?
Yeah, he's on the phone. He's going to be distracted.
Yeah, I totally agree. We don't want to be telling him what our next move is going to be.
No, not at all.
And they're almost kind of asking him permission to do it.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah. All right, let's watch the next part.
He's raising the shotgun.
Steve, we need you to put the gun down. We need you to come to the front door with nothing in your hands, please.
What's he doing?
Can't see him.
We need you to come to the front door with nothing in your hands.
So he's got us, huh? Yeah, so he's got to still be on the thing because he slid the.
Steve, we understand you're bleeding.
So
we
he
want
slid
you to help.
the screen door back closed. Yep. So.
Steve, we need to get you medical help. Come down to the come down the stairs with no gun.
He's aiming it. He's aiming it over here. He's pointing it like.
Okay.
He just racked it.
Down.
Okay, so throughout this video, if you watch the full video, this goes on for a period of time, for well over an hour. I think it's more in the 2-hour range. So they're trying to negotiate with him. It's now dark, and the parents are on scene. They're trying to use his parents to negotiate with them. It's not going well. So they're not getting through to him. He's now telling the cops that they're going to need a coroner on scene. He's now kind of ramping this up a little bit. He's still not complying. So ultimately what ends up happening, you can see in the video that the subject comes out on the back balcony. And what I really liked about this part was the officer started doing a really good job narrating what was going on. And for those of you out there who are either cops or even non-cops, the reason that they're doing this is so you only get one perspective from a body cam angle, right? You can't see everything. That's impossible. So he's saying what he is visually seeing with his eyeballs that the camera is not seeing. He's out on the back balcony. He's pointing the gun in our direction. He's racking the gun. He's narrating what he is seeing, which is ultimately why the officers fired their guns and fatally shooting the subject, because he did go out on the balcony. He pointed the firearm at the officers, and he racked it. He's showing his intention of using lethal force.
Yep. Something
at that point needs to be done. So it's an unfortunate outcome that this occurred, but the officers, I feel, did a fantastic job. It didn't sound like any of them lost their cool. They maintained a mellow, nice tone throughout this entire incident. They did a good job of evacuating innocent people. And like I said, I think if you're a cop out there listening to this, the narration part of this is a good idea, because when lethal force has been taken, the public and whoever else is investigating this is only going to get that view of whatever your camera's showing. And if it's a bunch of cars in a parking lot and then you have someone that takes a lethal shot, why did that person take that lethal shot, right? So I really do like the narration part of that.
Yeah, that was really good.
All right, everybody. So that's it for this week's body cam breakdown. Overall, officers did a good job. Unfortunately, the individual lost his life. We have to understand that a suspect gets a vote in these types of scenarios. And again, Scott Savage says it all the time. The suspect does get a vote, right? These people kind of dictate the outcome of these types of incidents. And it's unfortunate, but we need to realize when we can walk away from these things. There is a class out there, Response to a Non-Criminal Barricade. I strongly encourage everybody to take that class and be up to speed with when you can and can't walk away from these types of calls.
Brandon, thanks for sending this body cam video to break down. This was a really good one. And just remember, the point of our podcast and these body cam breakdowns is really just to promote officer safety, bring awareness to the general public, be transparent, give our unbiased, neutral opinion of what we're watching. And have the goal of really having officers be really safe, think outside the box, take their time, know the law, know what they can and can't do, what they should and should not do, and really with the mindset of just being safe.
All right, everybody, we will catch you guys on the next one later.